An estimated 1,300 people in Syria have been killed since a crackdown on anti-government protests began in March. Foreign journalists are banned from Syria, so getting accurate information out of there has been very difficult. But Martin Fletcher, a reporter, the Times of London, managed to sneak in as a tourist and traveled for 6 days before being caught in the city of Homs, a focal point of the uprising.
What I found was a city that was extraordinarily tense and, to all intents and purposes, under military occupation. There were soldiers, men in civilian clothes with guns or sticks on almost every corner. At the main intersections there were tanks. There were very few people on the streets. Most of the shops were closed. On the northern edge of the city there were at least 100 tanks parked, and all around the edge of the city there were checkpoints. And I foolishly managed to drive into one of those. They looked at my passport, they saw that I'd been to both Libya and Egypt this year, and so understandably they were suspicious. And I was taken down into a windowless basement, and when I got there I was put in a corridor, and beyond that was a steel door, and my taxi driver was brought in after me, and they opened the steel door and put him inside. And as they opened the door I saw dozens of young men sitting on the floor, huddled together. At regular intervals more young men were brought in. Some came in almost whimpering with fear. You could smell it. And others were defiant. Some had clearly been hit or beaten. There's one guy with a very swollen eye. The single defining characteristic was that they were young, they were able-bodied, and they were a threat to the regime. After about 5 or 6 hours, I was taken upstairs about 2 floors to another world. It was a sort of plush, air-conditioned office where a man they called the General was sitting, and he said to me, I'm very sorry we took you in, but you have to understand the situation in this country. There are troublemakers trying to unseat our government. Syria is not Libya, and it's not Egypt. There isn't the universal, visceral hatred of Assad that there was of Mubarak or is of Gaddafi. And the opposition is pretty fragmented. It's scattered around the country. It's strong in some towns, almost non-existent in others. So it wasn't a bonfire waiting to ignite in the way that Egypt or Libya were. It's more like sort of slow burning mound of grass that may or may not take off.